That is to me, when someone says, I just feel better, that means that some real shift has happened. And after doing this for so many years, now I know what's happened is a couple of things. One, they're getting more nutrition out of their food. We don't think about, we aren't just what we eat, we are what we digest and absorb. And so if you're not breaking down your food, you can have the healthiest diet in the world, but you're not getting those nutrients
Right.
out of it. So I just feel better as I'm getting more nutrition. And
Yes.
two, we're better able to eliminate. We all know how important elimination is, how important it is to help keep a healthy microbiome so that our own microflora can flourish.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 166 of the Healthy Habit Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Dayan of Healthy Habit Medical Center, and we're heading to the fall, winter months here, folks. By the time you're listening to this, it's going to be well into November. So this episode is going to be really important since it's the season of eating is coming up here. And we're talking to the Vice President of Education for Enzymedica, Julia Craven, here today, who was last with us on episode 113, released back at the end of April of 2024. Julia is a recognized expert in digestive health and enzyme therapy. She's known as the Holistic Enzymologist, and she's passionately spreading valuable information about healing the digestive health epidemic using an integrative, easy-to-understand, enzyme-focused approach that is accessible to all. And the true name of the company is Enzymedica, like enzymes for digestive health. So we're going to be covering all that today. She's also a product formulator, traditional herbalist, certified yoga instructor, and lifelong learner who's committed to empowering people to find their personal path to wellness. So I'm excited to welcome back Julia here to episode 166. How are we doing today, Julia?
We're doing great. I'm so excited to be with you. It's always so much fun to chat.
Likewise, it's an important topic, and we don't really have any other holistic enzymologists here that come on the show. So where do you want to start us off with here today to kind of set the stage for today's discussion?
Well, being that we are heading into what many people celebrate as the holiday season, I thought that it would be good to not just talk about digestion, but also food intolerances. Because the holidays are a time when, even if you're really, really dedicated and you're really trying very hard, say you are very strict, you can
Yeah.
still have accidental cross-contamination. That can certainly happen, especially when we're going and we're having family meals. I always say we love grandma, but we may not always trust grandma when it comes to food intolerances and things like that. So enzymes are so special and they can be extremely targeted for specific food intolerances. And so I thought that'd be a great place to start today.
Right. Last time we talked about Enzymedica as a company, and again, I highly suggest folks go back, check out episode 113. We talked about Digest Gold, America's #1 selling digestive enzyme. We even covered gut motility and the kiwi regularity chews. So that was a really good, informative one. So today we want to go more talking about lacto dairy assisting enzymes and gluten assisting enzymes. So let's start off with GlutenEase.
Sure. The GlutenEase, we have two GlutenEase products, by the way, regular GlutenEase and extra strength.
Uh-huh.
And there's a really special enzyme. It's in both of the products. This enzyme is called DPP4. I know that sounds super technical, but simply a protein digesting enzyme, and its job in life is to break down the gluten protein. That's what it is a specialist at. That's what it's really, really good for. So if you are there's a spectrum, I call it, with food intolerances. And this is especially true with gluten. You can have what is called an intolerance, which is just usually it's a digestive issue. I don't quite digest that quite well. Maybe I have a little bit of gas, a little bit of bloating. Okay, enzymes are great. Enzymes are fantastic for dealing with this. And then we have where I've sat for a really long time, which is non-celiac gluten intolerance. This is more of a sensitivity. It's where we start to get digestive issues, but we may be getting issues even outside the digestive tract. And this is where we want to absolutely take that food out of our diet once we've identified that it's a problem. But enzymes can really help along the way, or those times where it's really hard to avoid the food. Then, as we go into really something much more serious, such as celiac, Enzymes are not the solution. Only taking that food out of your diet is the solution. But cross-contamination does occur, especially when we're traveling
Right.
over the holiday season. We're seeing friends, family. We might be spending long hours in airports, things like that. Cross-contamination does occur, and this is where enzymes can be so helpful for those individuals. So anywhere you are on this spectrum, enzymes can be really supportive for whatever it is that you are going through when we're talking about gluten intolerance. And it's this special enzyme, we're going to pull it up here, DPP4, that's the one at the top. And then notice that it also has amylase, TheraBlend. Amylase is great because it breaks down carbohydrates, and gluten is always encased in delicious carbohydrates. Then we have more protease, TheraBlend. That protease, again, helpful for breaking down all kinds of proteins, and glucoamylase helps with helping with more carbohydrate digestion. So this is not a complete digestive enzyme formula. This can be mixed with
Right.
other formulas. Say you love Digest Gold, that's your favorite formula. You can put this formula, the GlutenEase or the GlutenEase Extra Strength, together with your Digest Gold.
This one's going to have a heavy preference, hence the name GlutenEase, to wheat and gluten containing products, breads, pastas, especially like you said during the holidays. We're not on our normal routine. So
Mhm.
some people can normally tolerate pastas and breads, but they usually get organic or sourdough from their local bakery maybe, and here they're out of town. They're at the airport trying to eat the bread, which is completely different. The gut might not recognize it, correct?
Yep, that's absolutely true. I know for
So,
myself, if I'm more stressed out, I'm going to have a harder time digesting gluten, and that makes sense, right? Our stress, our whole digestive system is really connected with our state of mind too, and the holidays can be stressful.
yeah. So again, folks, gluten digesting enzyme supplement, powerful enzymes for gluten intolerance with additional enzymes to target casein. Can you tell us about some of the research behind this? Like this is actual peer-reviewed, evidence-based. All these enzymes in this blend have been put to the test, correct?
Yeah, DPP4 especially, Enzymedica was the first to launch these gluten digesting enzymes years and years ago. And DPP4 is similar to an enzyme that we actually make in our intestines. We make our own DPP4,
Uh-huh.
but sometimes due to damage that naturally occurs over the course of life, stress I mentioned, we just may not be making enough of our own enzymes. And so this is where that product really, this enzyme specifically, really comes into play. The other thing I want to mention is that there are other gluten digesting enzymes on the market now, but Enzymedica has stuck with the DPP4 because it is the one that is non-GMO. So there are other really actually very nice enzymes to digest gluten, but the DPP4 is a non-GMO.
Perfect. Thanks for highlighting that, Julia. Again, this is from enzymedica.com. Enzyme like ENZYME and then DICA, enzymedica.com. You can check out all their products, everything we're discussing here today with Julia through their website. But we also have their entire lineup. We have the whole setup here at Healthy Habit Health Food, 6029 North 7th Street, where you can come and see everything that we're discussing here today. They have their own panel there. So, how important is it to be able to get through that digestive tract, because various stages and levels of the digestive tract have different pHs, as this picture shows. But for our audio listeners, they can't see this photo. So tell us a little bit, explain this for us here. The stomach pH 1 to 3.5, pancreas 8 to 8.3 pH, and then the small intestine 7.5 to 8. So why does this matter?
It matters because enzymes are very specific as far as what pH they are going to come into their full activity. So if
Right.
we want the best enzyme activity possible, then we need to know what enzyme to use for the job. So again, enzymes are so specific, and let's use DPP4, that protease, as an example. DPP4 works really well in more of a neutral environment.
Mm.
So we want to make sure that it makes it through stomach acid being super important. We want to make sure there's, optimal food breakdown. We want to make sure it gets through stomach acid so that it can do its job when it gets to the small intestine. So when we're formulating enzymes, we want to make sure that we have an enzyme that's going to work in stomach acid. We want to make sure that we have enzymes that are going to work throughout the digestive system, so the small intestine, even into the large intestine, the microbiome. When we talk about the microbiome, we often just think probiotics, probiotics, probiotics. But
Yeah.
guess what? Our microflora and probiotics, they work synergistically with enzymes. So we just want to make sure that we're getting activity all the way through the digestive system. And that's where we start to see really whole body results for people It's more than just breaking down your food. I have a little bit less gas and bloating. When we're positively impacting the microbiome, now we're talking whole body health, right? And this is why Enzymedica has been so beloved for so many years because people get results with all kinds of different things, not just digestion.
Great explanation there. I appreciate that. So then that's the GlutenEase again, folks. Very specific formula. That's not one of their like Digest Gold that we highlighted in episode 116 or sorry 113 with Julia. That America's #1 selling digestive enzyme. That one's going to be more broad spectrum across different food groups. Is that a good way to look at that, Julia? Where this one's more targeted?
Yep. So GlutenEase is super targeted. Now, if you want to get that gluten digesting enzyme, that DPP4 plus whole meal digestion, I think the Digest Spectrum is a great choice.
Okay.
So say you're someone, again, like me, I'm always on watch out. I've had some food intolerances in my life and have been fortunate enough to be able to work with them.
Mm,
That Digest Spectrum is really your complete meal digestion because it has the DPP4. It also has more enzymes there to help to break down dairy, both protein and dairy sugar. So pretty high lactase in that formula as well. And then for those individuals that have a hard time with garlic, onions, what we think of those other, tough to digest foods, the Digest Spectrum is a great one as well.
perfect. So that's great there. That's just good to keep in mind, but we wanted to focus specifically. So that's the GlutenEase. Keep that in mind, folks, for just knowing that what we're highlighting today is very targeted enzyme blends for specific food groups, but Enzymedica has products like the Digest Spectrum and Digest Gold for comprehensive support as well. So keep that in mind. So next up on the radar here it looks like Lacto DairyAssist, which is a really popular one, especially the poor quality of dairy that's oftentimes consumed during the holiday season. So let's highlight the Lacto DairyAssist.
Sure. So we have two products. We have the Dairy Assist product, which is simply high lactase with protease TheraBlend. Now, many people, as you probably know, most people don't digest dairy very well at all. That's really very common, and yet we continue to eat it. And folks think that it is the lactase, the enzyme lactase is the best one to take, but that's really only dealing with part of the issue. That's really only dealing with the lactose, which is the dairy sugar. Oftentimes, it's the casein, which is the dairy protein, that is troublesome for people to be able to consume. So they try enzymes. They say, oh, I tried that lactase enzyme. Oh, and it didn't work. And it's because it was actually the casein that they were having a hard time breaking down. So the Dairy Assist is a really simple formula. It's just for dairy protein and dairy sugar. And then when we go to the lacto formula, which is the complete digestive enzyme, that has a lot of the enzymes for the dairy protein and the dairy sugar, but also enough to digest the entire meal.
Perfect. And I do want to make that I made it seem like it's one product. So I want to just highlight that for everybody here. I'll do a quick screen share. There's one product called Lacto through Enzymedica. Then there's one called the Dairy Assist, as you can see here in the screen share.
Mhm.
So one is going to be breaking down dairy heavy metals. One is specific to, like you said, the sugars in the dairy, the lactose and the proteins as well. So which one do you want? Let's start off with lactose specifically. How does one know which one to go for? Or do you
Right.
do both typically? Are they both taken together? Tell us about this.
You should need to take them both together. So if you
Okay.
want complete meal digestion, so all the food groups, your protein, your carbs, your fats, your fiber, and you're eating a lot of dairy and you know you don't digest it very well, then that would be the lacto product.
Got it.
If you every once in a while you eat a little bit of dairy, you don't really have big issues. But say, I often hear it's like, I just want to be able to go and have ice cream with my kids every once in a blue moon.
Yeah.
That would be the dairy assist. You
By
just
the
need
way,
a
I
little
said
extra
sorry.
help.
I said heavy metals. I meant to say heavy meals. There, it looks like metals when I do a first glance at it. It's like a detox chelation product. No, so
No.
this is like you said. It breaks down dairy heavy meals is what I was
Mhm.
saying for lactose. So great. Thanks for clarifying that. And then continue then with the dairy assist.
And then dairy assist is just I need a little bit of extra help every once in a while. This is just for breaking down dairy. It is just protease, TheraBlend, as well as a good amount of lactase, which breaks down the dairy sugar. So you're getting the dairy sugar and the dairy protein breakdown in a capsule. So again, this is for that person who just every once in a while wants to be able to have
Have a
some
ice
dairy,
cream.
or I
Yep.
think about it like, yeah, I'm going and I'm having a holiday meal. I always have my Digest Gold with me, but maybe I'm going to take a little bit of extra dairy assist because I know that grandma loves to cook with,
Right.
a lot of butter and cream.
Right, right. And then I like the picture you chose to put on the dairy assist, which is like the ice cream cone, because
Mhm.
and like a picture of dad with his daughter eating the ice cream. Maybe like once in a while, you go Friday night, go get ice cream. You might take the dairy assist. So good. That's a good differentiation there. Tell us about the ALU and the HUT enzymes here. Are they both found in the lacto and dairy assist, just in different amounts?
Yep, so ALU and HUT, this actually is a larger conversation and it's how are enzymes measured.
Yeah.
People are really very accustomed to, we look on a supplement label and what we see is milligrams. And with enzymes, milligrams don't matter. Milligrams are just weight. When we're talking about enzymes, we want to know how much they break down. That's what matters. We don't care how much they weigh. We don't care about their milligrams. We care how much they break down. So when we're looking and we see this HUT, HUT is how enzymes are measured for protein digestion. It
Uh-huh.
actually stands for something nobody needs to know, except I'll say it. It's hydrolyzing units in a tyrosine base. You
Okay.
don't need to know it. You just need to know that HUT is how much protein that protease will break down. ALU is the measurement for lactase. So all enzymes are measured differently because all enzymes break down different things. And so when we're looking at the back of a label, it can be like, what does all of this mean? Why does it say ALU and HUT and XU and C? You know what? You don't need to worry about it too much. You don't need
Right.
to know everything that that stands for. Just know that we don't measure enzymes in milligrams because weight doesn't matter. What matters is how much that enzyme breaks down.
Perfect. And by the way, folks, Enzymedica has other products too. We're not going to cover everything today, like the Bean Assist for the legume family of foods, which, by the way, is the most neglected food group in America, but we won't go into that today. So that's another reason why people have a lot of trouble digesting the beans. But that's for that maybe the next time we have Julia on in November, mid-November, airing probably December, mid-December. So Lacto by Enzymedica, which has the carbohydrate digesting enzyme blend, protein, fat, and fiber as well, lactose digesting enzymes. It's a bit more comprehensive than just the dairy assist formula. So tell us what are some before and afters that people have reported over the years that, oh, now I don't have this anymore. It would be like gas, bloating, what else, like probably even acne and skin issues, right? So what are some good before and after transformations that you've come across over your time working in the enzyme world?
It's really astonishing. It even surprises me. So we have very common what I call the tip of the iceberg digestive issues, like you mentioned, gas, bloating, occasional heartburn. That's a really big one, especially as we go into the overeating season. People saying discomfort, regularity is a huge one. Those are easily handled by enzymes. And I want to make it clear that even though I love enzymes, I love people taking care of their diets and having clean diets more.
Right.
And so this is all in addition to the best lifestyle choices that you're able to make every single day. So those things are easily handled by enzymes. Where it gets really cool is when people start to take enzymes and those dietary intervention, that healthy lifestyle over a long period of time, and they say, I just have so much more energy. I just feel better. That is to me, when someone says, I just feel better, that means that some real shift has happened. And after doing this for so many years, now I know what's happened is a couple of things. One, they're getting more nutrition out of their food. We don't think about, we aren't just what we eat, we are what we digest and absorb. And so if you're not breaking down your food, you can have the healthiest diet in the world, but you're not getting those nutrients
Right.
out of it. So I just feel better as I'm getting more nutrition. And
Yes.
two, we're better able to eliminate. We all know how important elimination is, how important it is to help keep a healthy microbiome so that our own microflora can flourish. Because you know what? This is where our immune system really happens. And it's also where so many neurotransmitters are created. So when somebody comes back to me and they say, I just feel better, I know a fundamental shift has really happened throughout the digestive system. Many people just say, Digest Gold is the one thing I won't go without because I just have so much more energy.
I love that. Great breakdown. Thank you, Julia. So, why are enzymes effective potentially for weight management and balancing our metabolism?
I think that they're a part of obviously the whole program, right? And so it isn't just about digestive enzymes, it's about blood sugar regulation and things of that nature. But again, what I've seen over the years, and I love the fact that you use the word management because over the years, I've also worked with people who have a hard time keeping on weight as well as taking off weight. And what I've noticed is that when people are taking digestive enzymes, TheraBlend enzymes consistently, those things tend to normalize. And why wouldn't they? If you're making all the right dietary choices, why wouldn't you start to normalize if you're starting to get more nutrition out of your food? Digestion takes an immense amount of energy. It takes a lot of energy for our bodies to break down food. So if we're helping to make it a little bit easier, everything's going to go more smoothly.
That makes so much sense. Plus, you'll be absorbing more B vitamins that you need for metabolism and iron and
Minerals,
yeah.
mineral absorption, it's hard to get out of our foods, and it's even harder to digest and absorb them if for any reason we're compromised. And by the way, most of us are. The virtue of just getting older means we're producing less digestive enzymes.
Yes. Yeah, and the stomach acid gets weaker with age
Hmm.
too, plus the
Yep.
enzymes being produced less. So then all that energy is going to the gut instead of into be able to go hiking or going to the gym, right? Or
Mhm.
so
Yep.
think clearly, and then you'll just be sitting around all day because you're so tired, and then boom, that can promote weight gain. So there we go. That's a good answer. Perfect. We'll finish off here. I want to highlight. Let me see here. Give me one moment. The Spectrum blend, which you kind of hinted at earlier. Actually, the Digest Spectrum, is that the one you were mentioning earlier?
Yep.
That's has them all. So let's go there, and then we'll kind of differentiate that from Digest Gold, which is that number one selling product, and then we'll wrap it up from there. So tell us about Digest Spectrum.
So Digest Spectrum is really targeted towards all the major food intolerances, I'll say. So it has that special gluten digesting enzyme. It has that DPP4 in there. It also has a lot higher lactase to help to break down the dairy sugar. And then it has some special enzymes to help with things like garlic, onions, things like that, that many people are having a hard time digesting as well. So it's sort of your complete food intolerance formula. I love Digest Spectrum because oftentimes when people are at the beginning of their health journey, they know they have reactions to food, but they haven't figured out which one it is yet. And they're either working with a practitioner and getting that testing, they're doing elimination diets. Myself, I really firmly believe that step one is a food journal. Start to write down everything, notice how you feel. Everything about that only takes about 5 minutes a day. So it's a process. And Digest Spectrum is so wonderful because it's more than likely going to cover something that you're having a reaction to while you're in this process of figuring out what else might be going on.
Perfect. I'll do one more quick screen share here, the last one of the day for our YouTube viewers. And if you're on audio, I highly suggest you go and follow us on YouTube to get the full thing here. You get the audio and the visual of what's going on here, and you get to see our lovely faces here right on the screen here. So Digest Spectrum. And this is actually, there's a nice blog post here on enzymedica.com. Natural Choice Awards 2021 winner, this product a couple years back, voted number one digestive supplement in through Whole Foods magazine. So why is that? Why is this one, out of all the products you guys have, tell us about why this one took the award that year.
It's really because of that focus on food intolerances. And
Yeah.
thank goodness that so many people are having an awareness of this now. People are really thinking about how food is affecting them and not just that it's clean and healthy food, but that even really clean and healthy foods may not be the right choice for them. So this one covers most of the things that people are going to have an intolerance to, most of the major intolerances. So gluten, we mentioned phenols here, which is interesting. Phenols are an up and coming food intolerance, lactose, and casein. Those are some big ones. So you can also see, you mentioned beans earlier. We can see 600 units. That's GALU. I'm not going to say it all, but it's 600
Yeah.
units for breaking down vegetables and beans. So this is a really, really great formula for all the different kinds of food intolerances. I want to point out that this is a 2 capsule dose. It's our only digestive formula that is actually a 2 capsule dose. And the reason is we wanted to keep the capsules really small. For anybody out there who's taken Digest Gold, that's a pretty big capsule, and not everybody wants that big capsule. So I appreciate this is a smaller capsule in a 2 capsule dose.
Amazing. And then we'll finish off on highlighting how is this different from that Digest Gold product, which was a very, really popular classic one as well through Enzymedica. How does one know where to navigate that or how to
So if
navigate
you
it?
have any kind of intolerance to gluten, actually Digest Spectrum is going to be better for you because it has that special gluten digesting enzyme, the DPP4.
Okay.
It's listed under protein digesting enzymes on the label that we're looking at. So Digest Spectrum has the DPP4, Digest Gold does not.
Got it.
If you have any of those kinds of gluten sensitivities and tolerances, actually Digest Spectrum would be a better choice for you. It's also much higher in the lactose digestion, 2000 units. So really, if you have food intolerances, Digest Spectrum is a great choice for you. Um, and if you are just looking for premium digestion across the board, then that would be Digest Gold.
Perfect. Thank you for that highlight there, Julia. And again, this is the Digest Spectrum product for multiple food intolerances. It features that DPP-IV, the DPP-4, the gluten digesting enzyme not found in the Digest Gold, not found in the Lacto, right, in the
Right.
DairyAssist formulas. So each one has its own unique setup there. So reduces occasional gas, bloating, indigestion, boosts energy, can even speed up digestion. As we highlighted a few moments ago, folks, as we age, we get a reduction in enzyme production, digestive enzyme production. We get weaker stomach acid. People tend to put on more weight as they move through their 50s, 60s, 70s, and there's slower metabolism. So, digestive enzymes could potentially be something to consider. We're not giving any medical advice. This is just educational. So, what do you
Mhm.
want to leave us with then, Julia, here today before we have you on for our part 3 of 2024 in a couple weeks?
I want to encourage people to really think about their digestion and acknowledge where they're actually at. Over the years, I hear people say, you know what, I just have a bad gut. Oh, I have so many issues, but they learn to live with it. And as they've learned to live with it, it starts to get progressively more impactful on not just their discomfort, but really on quality of life. And so if you are having any digestive issues whatsoever, don't think that you need to live with it. There are things that we can do. Dietary intervention being the first and foremost, but also supplementation with digestive enzymes is really something that can help to give you that boost because you don't just have a bad stomach. You didn't just happen to have these issues. There are really things that we can do. And I want to encourage people because remember, health begins in the gut. And we need to take care of our gut as we're taking care of our total body health.
Absolutely, Julia. Thank you so much for your time today coming on. And is enzymedica.com a good source for people to go in the meantime?
Absolutely. We have so many great blogs. Just type in that little search, and you'll find so many blogs. We also have a really great chat that we've worked very, very hard on our AI and our
Oh,
chat. I've
wow.
worked
Okay.
very closely with them. I've tried to stump the thing and I can't. So some basic questions are even just answered in our chat, but go there. Lots of education, also following us on social media.
I will definitely be sharing that to everybody here in the description box under the video. Thank you. And I look forward to our next one.
Me too. Okay, have a good one.